Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the Megas Call of Dragons, we're going to check out the new developer Q&A. And it's funny because I would say that my reaction here is a little bit late, but I didn't have power for the last 24 hours, so that was really fun. If you're East Coast USA, I don't know if it was all of the East Coast, but anyways, I got freaking wrecked by this storm, and I think I actually unironically need a backup generator for the house, because I just got cooked, couldn't do anything. So I had a forced vacation day, I suppose you could call it. But let's see what happened in Call of Dragons while I was away. Question 1. Will you make it possible to retain Seals of Power between Heights of Power events? This is a big deal. We're planning to change the rules for Heights of Power events starting at the end of this month. Seals of Power will no longer be scrapped when the event ends and will be carried over to future Heights of Power events. Of course, we are also aware that a lot of players didn't have enough Seals of Power to exchange for city themes or adornments in the last Heights of Power event and had to settle for other items instead. So after this change, we'll be refunding all Seals of Power spent on items that were not city themes or adornments in the previous event and removing those items that Seals of Power were spent on. I think this is great, okay? A little weird to remove the items that they had spent the Seals of Power on, but I get it. So in case you missed it, the thing that was being accomplished with these Seals of Power is basically a pity system on Great Heights. And the weirdness of Great Heights is that if you want a 10% or better city theme, you basically can't train troops in between Great Heights, and you need to wait until the one Great Heights event wherein you would go and actually get the theme you want. So theoretically, depending on how competitive your server is, this is opening up a world where you could start to earn these Seals of Power in other Great Heights and train early and enjoy the troops. And then finally, when, you know, the event comes along where you want the theme, you could use them then. I mean, the disadvantage of that is that you still have to get the theme. So the thing I will point out, though, is that I've been sitting on like 30 million power worth of troop training for like 9 months. And I would love to enjoy the troops, but I'm just like sitting here waiting patiently for my infantry theme, right? So I think this is a good change. Long story short, I think it is a solid change. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's easy for enemies to concentrate their attacks on a single legion, ruining the fun of combat. I agree. Are you doing anything to resolve this? It sucks to get targeted. Okay, it just does. And if you play infantry, which I have, a bunch of enemies target you, and then you just evaporate. Which, like, it's realistic, but is that fun? And I think this player with this question has nailed it. I don't know that it is. In fact, I would say most of the time when I've felt that way, it isn't. We've taken this into consideration and we'll be making changes to the rules of combat. This rule change will increase the survivability of legions who come under attack from a large number of opponents, increasing the amount of time they can spend in combat and improving the battle experience, so that you too can feel like you're playing the game even though you are 100x surrounded. Joking aside, it's funny because the way the game is designed now, there is a surround debuff that you get when you are surrounded by an enemy, although I don't think that works for ranged marches, which is kind of weird, but actually kind of makes sense. Anyways, long story short, I do think this is a positive change. I don't think it's very fun to like run in with your cavalry and just like get evaporated. Or like I've had my cavalry charge an enemy and then the enemy I was charging dies. And then my cav march just stops going forward. And then I get 100 million X surrounded, and then I get the worst report of my life. And I was like, right. Even though you want to hit weak armies with your cavalry, if you target them, you lose. This might help with that a little. A little. I think also cavalry, I mean, do they need to be more powerful? No. But, like, are there some things about how they work that I'd like to see changed? Yes. Anyways, reducing the length of the season means that players can buy fewer items in the merit store, making war pet training process slower. Will you also be shortening the time between resets in the merit store? Okay, interesting question. We've received a lot of feedback on this issue, suggesting the merit store should be open more frequently. We do not consider this viable. A pattern of daily and weekly refreshes is better suited to player schedules. I think that's a way of saying that, like, look, at the end of the day, a daily reset and a weekly reset, it's just intuitive. And it is pretty intuitive. Considering players' requirements for Elixir and Warpet skill cards, we're making the following changes to the Merit Store. These changes are intended to make spending merits a more efficient way to speed up growth. Okay. The Merit Store will be opened in the rest period between seasons, allowing more players to purchase items in their home realm. I don't know how I'm getting any merits for this, but okay. I also don't know how I heal my hospital fast enough for this. The tier system of the Merit Store will be removed, making high-level items available from the Merit Store in the beginning of each season. That's definitely nice. This will help players meet their needs more quickly, I agree. The number of regeneration potions available, both free and paid, will be significantly increased in future updates. Cool. I think that's great. Overall, good changes. I don't know how I'm getting merits in the off-season, but cool that there's a store. I mean, I guess I just, like, grind them out somehow. I guess I like could do the battle event that shows up periodically, the Abyss. I suppose this is a good time to point out that maybe this is indicating we'll get more ways to get merits between seasons. Maybe? Because, like, that is a lot of merits and a lot of hospital to heal in the off season. I don't know how that's going to happen. Okay, so during the season, Alliance members often have to switch between multiple alliances in order to compete events or take part in warfare. I would say my experience doing this in this last season was truly dizzying. I mean, dizzying with the amount of shell swapping I had to do. And that's with me already being the guy who has access to all the shells because I'm a garrison captain. So they have me on the auto accept list already. And it was like constant dizzying amounts of shell swapping to put credits places that flag to be built. And. So it was really a lot. This causes a significant strain on Alliance administrators who have to repeatedly enable and disable settings and adjust member rankings. True. Like, I get how many Discord pings a day about this? Maybe 50? 50 to 100 in times of war? Of like, at the door for this shell, at the door for that shell. Got to promote up officers here, officers there. And a truly dizzying experience going between shells. Would you do anything to resolve this? This person is asking the right question. 100%. This is the right thing to fix. We're planning on making the following improvements. We increase the size of the Alliance allow list to 200. This is a no-brainer. Easiest W of their life. Big W as well. Big W. Improving the allow list feature to allow Alliance administrators to set the rankings each members will receive upon joining. Big W. Big W. When players on the allow list join the Alliance, they will automatically be granted their allotted ranking if space available. This is a huge win. This is massive, right? Like, that means I can join as an officer to all these different alliances, and I can, like, promote myself to captain, right? Like, yeah, to remove a lot of the headache of administration. I know I've been saying this for over a year now, but, like, the leaders of these alliances are the most precious commodity that the game has. You need to care for these individuals. The amount of shell swapping, title changing, and all this stuff going on is and has been intense. This is a huge win for the game to make this change. Adding an auto approval feature when an alliance requires approval to join, Alliance administrators will be able to set the power and merit requirements. Players who meet these requirements will automatically have their join request approved. I mean, that's interesting. I don't know that it solves really the kind of problems we're solving up over here, but all this is a W. Okay, great. Alliance management privileges are often only open to officers, making management unwieldy. Will you do anything to fix this? Yeah, so on the flip side of things, should I have to be an officer or the current captain to promote myself to be the captain? Maybe not. Maybe not, though. We're currently working on a new feature which will allow the Alliance leader to choose which Alliance management privileges are granted to each member rank. Cool. I think that could be very good. Due to the possibility of conflicts between multiple players, the Beastmaster's ability to control behemoths is not made available. That, I suppose, makes sense. Roots of War registration process is arduous. Will you make it more streamlined? We're planning on making the following improvements. Administrators can use the same list of... Oh, thank goodness, bro. The same list of participants from the previous Roots of War registration. Cool. I like that. You know what else would be cool? Every time I rally... Okay, here's a big one. Every time I rally a Darkling Fort, what if the default suggestion was the pairing I used last time, if it's in my city? Just throwing it out there. Each alliance will be able to receive up to 6 Roots of War teams, reducing the need for players to switch alliances. Hallelujah. Love to see it. Subject to change, but great. Roots of War League. Plans are underway for a Roots of War League. Honestly, like, I kind of saw this coming from a mile away. Because, like, of course they're going to make a league for this, right? The first tournament is expected to take place in August of this year. League rules and rewards to be announced. So cool. Should be fun. All right. The Eliana Crisis event has become unappealing for players with maxed out heroes. I suppose that's true. We'll continue to add new epic heroes and events to take place of Eliana's Crisis. Okay. I mean, it is kind of funny that, like, it's a new player event that lives on until the rest of the time, but there are extra rewards. It's just, you know, it's not designed to have relevance to endgame players, but what if it did? Would that be bad? I don't think it would be. Logging on every day to update buildings, research tech, and train legions requires switching between multiple interfaces. Will you make this process easier? We're planning on adding a queue management panel to the left side of the screen. Honestly, I have seen this in games for like at least 5+ years. It is a very common design paradigm, and I think it would be a perfectly fine one to use here. A single view, it's kind of like an overview report of like, hey, here's like all the things happening in your city that you might need to get a look at. Marksman units are already too strong. Are you sure that buffing them any further won't unbalance the game? I do feel like my marksmen are my best units. Maybe it's just... Maybe they are OP, actually. I don't think I'm some special player of marksman. I think they probably are OP. And like Mag Zay is the case in point of that, but the plan changes will not make Marksman Legions range equal to Magic Legions. Instead, they will provide options that players can switch between. Switching to long distance mode will cause Marksman Legions to lose some of their original attribute advantages. For example, they receive a reduction in attack, defense, and hit points. This does not mean that Marksman Legions are being buffed and Magic Legions are being weakened, or that Marksman Legions will be able to take the place of Magic Legions on the battlefield. I think that the ability to switch around your Marksman is very interesting. Here's the problem I think they're solving. The problem I think they're solving is that it's a level of challenge perhaps too high for most casual mobile gamers to manage armies that shoot at different ranges, right? Like, I know I personally have really got to be on a PC if I want to get a good result. So I think a part of what's going on here is that if I can make my marksmen shoot at a longer range, I could have a ball of mixed mages and marksmen and enjoy my ranged units and play them more like one unit, which makes it a lot easier and probably more enjoyable. I think this is a very good change. I think the balance is obviously very critical to get right. So a lot of attentiveness needs to go to that. But the concept of this change is certainly very interesting. If the goal is in fact to improve the gameplay experience of using mixed units simultaneously, which I think is not a bad thing. Today, I've moved in the direction of aspiring to only use one troop type at a time, with the exception of also potentially running out infantry or having an infantry in a bastion. And that means I am the captain, which usually works out pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I showed the videos about my city hits, but I suppose at some point we reach the world where I can like show what was really happening when I've been garrisoning. But like, yeah, like all my reports kind of look like this. Yup. No, I don't think people understand what I've been doing in the garrison. I've been an absolute freaking menace. Just truly diabolical. But now I'm getting ahead of myself. That's probably topic for a separate video. Yeah, actually just diabolical. It's actually insane what I've been doing in the garrison. But how did I get to garrison? Oh yeah, one army in the garrison. I've been wanting to show reports for so long, and now that that's changing the way that works, I might make a vid about it. You enjoyed this one? Throw a like on here, subscribe. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.